Hey guys, Jobin here. A couple of weeks back I put out a video highlighting a design problem with the first generation of the Ganzo G717, which is the knife you see in pieces in front of you here now. Now, they fixed it in the more recent productions of that, and so that's great, but there's still a lot of these knives floating around, including the one that I myself carry sometimes. And so I was thinking, is there an easy way to fix this? And just for a recap of the problem, basically, the stop pin of the knife, which is this part right here, it is hollow and threaded, and for a design like this it should really be solid because there are no screws that go through there that hold it in place or reinforce it. And so sometimes it'll just shear off because the metal's pretty thin, it's a hollow tube, which is expected to absorb a lot of force if the knife experiences any impact. And again, they fixed that in the later productions. But is there an easy way to upgrade your existing one if you have one? Well, sort of the first thing that comes to mind is, well, you could make a new stop pin, but unless you're fortunate enough to have a lathe, that might not be practical. Also, you could say, well, let's just put a screw in there, but there's no room in the handle or the knife design for that. There's no screw hole, there's no milled out section for a screw head. That would also be a fair amount of work, which some people might not have the tools or skills for. Fortunately, you can do this pretty easily with a Dremel and a cutoff disc, a pair of pliers, and about $2. Because the offending part, the stop pin, is threaded in 2.5 millimeter metric. That's redundant for you. 2.5 millimeter screw. And just lying around the shop, I happen to have a little baggie of cheap 2.5 millimeter screws. But they've got heads on them, which there's no room for in the knife. That's where the pliers and the cutoff disc come in. Hold the screw in the pliers, cut the heads off, and you end up with something like this. It would probably be better if I had 2.5 millimeter threaded rod or something, or longer screws, so I could only need one screw. But this is just what I had lying around. So basically, you just take these bits of threaded rod that you've now made in a few minutes and screw them into the hollow piece, and you end up with something like this, which should be almost as good as the solid one-piece units that are now coming in the Generation 2 versions of this knife. Cool, huh? So that's pretty easy, so I thought I'd share it with you folks. And, oh, by the way, I don't think I showed this off anywhere else before. This is the etch I did on my knife. I kind of like it. I don't think I've done one quite like this before. Let me know what you think. Alright guys, as always, this is Jobin, signing off, saying, remember where your knife is. I almost fumbled my own catchphrase. Weird.